What's going on, everybody? Ray here. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different format, but I'm going to be teaching you guys everything you need to know about Spike. Hopefully you enjoy.
This empty town, we're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware, keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flame.
Spike is one of the legendary brawlers in the game right now, which means he's very difficult to get out of the brawl boxes with a 0.11% chance to pull. So those of you who have him already, props to you. Now, his legendary status does not make him better than any other brawler. It just means he's more intricate. He can do more things than most brawlers. Spike's best notable attributes are his crowd control thanks to his super, his damage, and his accuracy. On the flip side, what he's not so good at is his stamina. You need to watch out. He has pretty low health, and his mobility. He has the same run speed as most of the other brawlers in the game. Spike's attack is one of the most powerful in the game, dealing 480 damage per spike at level 1 and 672 damage at level 10. When hitting another brawler with one of Spike's basic attacks, about 80% of the time, only 2 different spikes will land on that brawler. Very rarely will 3 different spikes land on a brawler, but it does happen. You have to be either really close or just get lucky. Things to keep in mind when you're leveling up your Spike is once you reach level 7, his attack will be able to 3-shot any of the weaker brawlers such as Piper, Ricochet, or Barley if you land 2 of your spikes, which happens the majority of the time. Some good ways to use Spike's attack in game is waiting for brawlers to clump up together. Spike is able to hit more than one very easily. This is good for having a big impact on the entire enemy team and charging up your super fairly quickly. You should treat Spike's attack as more of a mid-range to short range. If you get a little bit too long, the damage is inconsistent and won't do a whole lot for your team. The closer you get your main Spike bomb to another brawler, the more likely you're going to deal more damage. Try not to rely on the ricocheted shots once the bomb explodes to deal damage at a distance. Spike's health is on par with some of the other lower health brawlers in the game, such as Piper, Ricochet, Barley, and Dynamite. It's sitting at 2,400 at level 1 and 3,360 at level 10. The thing that you have to look out for Spike is that he does good damage at close range, however he does have low health, so you can't overcommit too much. Spike's super is the reason he's so good at crowd control and one of the best supers in the game right now. You can use it in multiple different ways. One being you can pin people off from going in a certain direction on the map, and 2, it's great for mass clearing of the enemy team. If they're all grouped up, you can do a lot of damage. Spike's super manipulates the other team's movement speed while doing damage at the same time, which is really important in certain situations and completely unique to him. His super lasts 5 seconds, dealing 400 damage per second at level 1 and 560 damage at level 10. If you do the math and add it up, it could be a lot of potential damage that you're dealing to the entire enemy team. Now, Spike's star power is arguably one of the best star powers in the game as well. It couples with his super being that he heals when he's in his super radius as well. This is incredibly good for that burst damage that you need in certain situations and to just get you out of a tight spot. But if you don't have his star power, don't sweat it. It's still one of the best supers in the game without it, and you could do a lot of things in game with it for your team. Now to talk about game mode. So Spike's best game mode to play on is Gem Grab by far. He's exceptionally good on the maps Hard Rock Mine, Crystal Cavern, Mushroom Cave, Temple Catacombs, and Deep Hollows. So pretty much all of them. The only map that he doesn't absolutely dominate on is Sapphire Plains, the newest Gem Grab map. There are 3 major roles in Gem Grab: the support, the aggro, and the gem carrier, and Spike fits under the role as support. The gem carrier plays down the middle and collects the gems. The aggro and the support either play on the left or the right depending on the other team's positioning. You might not be seeing these roles being fulfilled at a little bit lower of a trophy range, however once you get a little bit higher you'll see it much more often, and I highly recommend you organize your team to fit these roles. The way you want to play Spike as a support is make sure to pick a lane and be sure that no one else is across from you. If they are, make sure to keep them controlled or at bay. If you have that other brawler controlled or you killed them, make sure to fire in shots at the middle, helping out your gem carrier. Spike is exceptionally well as a support brawler in Gem Grab because of his crowd control yet again. You could pin off the other gem carrier from coming down the middle lane in order to buy your gem carrier more time to collect more gems, or you can use it to help your team kill the other gem carrier, take their gems, and totally turn the tide of the fight. What you need to keep in mind is that Spike does have low health, and if you die in Gem Grab, your team suffers dramatically. Try to play a little bit more passive than what you're used to, stay alive, and offer that support for your team. Team comps are always changing in Brawl Stars. Right now in the current meta, the traditional gem carriers like Poco and Pam aren't that crazy good. we're seeing a lot of aggros and supports just being played in gem grab, so make sure to keep up with the meta and pick a good team with Spike accordingly. The best way to counter Spike right now in gem grab is picking a brawler that has a little bit more range than him to fit the role as support, such as Ricochet. Also, like I said before, Spike doesn't have that much health, so if you're trying to counter him, keep that in mind. Pick a brawler that can take him out really quickly. Spike's second best game mode is definitely Brawl Ball, where he dominates on triple dribble, pinhole punt, and he's okay on backyard bull. There are also 3 major roles in Brawl Ball, much like gem grab: the ball scorer, the wall breaker, and the damage dealer or opening maker. The way you want to play Spike in Brawl Ball is somewhat passive. Your team is going to be relying on you to create an opening for them to score the goal. The best way to do this is to sit back, slowly damaging the other team while charging up your super at the same time. Then use that super to create a great opening for your team to score the goal. Brawl Ball is all about control and holding your ground until the other team slips up. This could be just overpowering the other team, pushing them back towards their goal, creating an opening for your team to score, or killing another member on the team so your team has the advantage 3 against 2. What you don't want to do with Spike is be overly aggressive. Again, he has very low health, so if he dies, your team is at an immediate disadvantage. Some smart tactics to use with Spike is once a team scores a goal and the match resets, save your super so that you can use it against the entire enemy team, hoping to get 1 or 2 of them so your team can get the ball and have a dominating position in the next match. There are several great team comps with Spike with a ball scorer such as Mortis and Primo, and a wall breaker like Colt or Shelly. The best way to counter Spike in Brawl Ball is to abuse his health. Any longer range unit will be able to take him out pretty quickly. Also, if Spike is predominantly strong in the meta, a good way to counter him is picking a ball scorer like Mortis. If you're going to pick a ball scorer like Primo, he's going to be able to take a lot of shots from Spike, allowing Spike to charge up his super and make plays with that. Spike's third best game mode is Showdown. It could be a great option to push up your trophies if you don't have access to a team for game modes like Gem Grab or Brawl Ball, and if randoms are your only option at the time. He's good on the maps Skull Creek, Death Valley, Feast or Famine, and the newest map, Thousand Lakes. He's decent but not as good on Stormy Plains because there's a lot of walls for lobbers to really dominate on that map and tanks to get in really close. In Showdown, Spike is incredibly good at getting the boxes quickly because he can land 3 of his spikes almost every single time if you're right on top of the box. You want to get as many elixir as possible in the beginning because Spike has really low health and that elixir will help boost that up. Whether you're for or against teaming in Showdown, it is a thing in Brawl Stars and should be adopted once you get a little bit higher in trophies. If you're a little bit lower in trophy count, you won't necessarily have to worry about teaming because it's not as predominant as it is if you're a little bit higher in trophies. However, if you are a little bit higher in trophies, teaming should be a strategy you should try to adopt in Showdown. Spike is pretty receptive to teaming in Showdown, so I highly recommend that you are selective with your team. Try to get on a team with someone you know is going to do really well for you in the long run. Brawlers that I recommend teaming with are lobbers and those that don't do a whole lot of damage, such as Poco or Nita. This way you can ensure that you're not going to get backstabbed instantly. Brawlers you don't want to team with are tanks. Never trust a tank. They can take you out very, very quickly because Spike has pretty low health. Other brawlers that you don't want to team with are Tara, Shelly, any of the brawlers that do a lot of damage at close range. Spike's fourth best game mode is Bounty, and you have to be a little bit careful on this game mode. Bounty on most maps favors the longer range brawlers, which puts Spike at an immediate disadvantage. Stay away from the bounty maps that don't have bushes. The longer range brawlers will pick you apart. Spike is playable on Temple Ruins, Terracotta Square, Snake Prairie, Star Gulch, Outlaw Camp, and Groundhog Burrow. The maps you definitely want to avoid are Shooting Star and Cabbage Patch. The things to keep in mind though is that Spike is not the best on Bounty. Most of the time, any of the longer range brawlers are going to do much better against him. The best thing to do with Spike on Bounty is not to play overly aggressive. You want to play in the bushes as long as possible and wait for the other team to come to you. If you play out in the open, the long range brawlers are going to take you out very quickly. Most of the long range brawlers can take you out in 2 shots. But if you can wait patiently for them to get close to you, you can take them out very quickly as well. Team comps with Spike are very map specific. For example, Shooting Star and Cabbage Patch, you're going to want Brock and Piper. But if you're on a map with a lot of bushes, like Terracotta Square or Outlaw Camp, you might want to aggro on your team, like Bull or Daryl. The 2 exceptions are Snake Prairie and Groundhog Burrow. You're definitely going to want to max out Bo with his star power on Snake Prairie for his vision. And on Groundhog Burrow, you're going to want a lobber on your team. They're very good on that map. The best way to counter Spike on Bounty is any of the long range brawlers such as Piper, Ricochet, Brock, or Colt. The final game mode is Heist, and to be frank with you, don't play Spike on Heist. There are several other brawlers much better than Spike on Heist, and you should be focusing your time on game modes like Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, and Showdown for Spike. Next are the 2 special events. Robo Rumble, I would definitely not recommend bringing Spike into. And on Boss Fight, he's a solid option as both the boss and going up against the boss. I would highly recommend you try him out. Alright, you guys, so that is everything you need to know about Spike, how to play him on every game mode, and how to counter him. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, and with that being said, me and this cute little guy are signing off. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware.